In Tallahassee, Florida, the supervisor of elections, Ion Sancho, wanted to be absolutely sure that when his computers declared a winner, it was because that was the will of the people.
The vendors have entirely too much power in the elections arena today. Election officials are really overly dependent upon the vendors. Vendors control what kind of technology may be offered in a state. We're essentially hostage to the financial desires of private interests to conduct the most public of our procedures, public elections.
Ion asked black box voting to look at his Diebold optical scan system, and they invited computer security expert Harry Hursti from Finland.
This is a first. We're going to be looking at the machines, the real machines. That's a real system that's actually been used in real elections. So this is exciting.
Welcome to Tallahassee.
Hi,
Thanks.
Harry Hurst. Nice to meet you.
Ion Sancho, Harry. This is where we count the votes on election night. It's Thomas James. Thomas?
How you doing? Very fine, you?
One of the things that the vendor told us was that people would not be able to access this, that every time you entered into the system, that the system would record that.
Dr. Hugh Thompson and Harry Hursti believed that they could change vote totals without being caught. Hugh tried hacking GEMS, the computer's vote counting program. He used an election held at a local high school. Nadia Smith had come in second with 322 votes. They decided to make her the winner.
So I go into this election file, and if I do, I'm asked for a password, and I have no idea what the password is.
But Hugh had written a program that automatically looked for Nadia's vote total and then changed it to 5,000. When they called up the results page, Nadia had won, but the computer showed no evidence of fraud.
It does give me great concern over the failure of the system to realize that you can slide by and come around through another direction and bypass the password.
But Hugh could have been caught if the final totals on GEMS were checked against the original printed out results. Harry realized that every vote is stored on a memory card before the totals are printed. So if you can hack the memory cards, you can control an election.
The reliability has to be very close to the source of the information. In that environment, the only possibility was the memory card.
Harry wanted to find out what exactly was inside the Diebold ballot box. And so he bought a memory card reader off the internet. And within a couple of days, he found that the cards didn't just contain votes. There was a program or executable code.
Well, if someone would have told me that in this system there is a living thing, an executable, modifiable program stored in the same place as the very data which is the most secure in this system, I would say you have to be misunderstanding something, crazy or lying.
Harry wrote a report for black box voting, warning that this program, lurking in the memory card, could be used to change the result of an election.
What happened after that was that Diebold basically dismissed and stonewalled the report.
Diebold sent letters to officials across America denying that there was any executable code on the memory cards. Back in Cuyahoga County, Ohio, home of the infamous recount, the chair of the Board of Elections, Bob Bennett, was on the brink of investing $20 million in Diebold systems.
It's a standalone system. Votes are encrypted, so if anyone tries to tamper with those election results, it immediately shuts down the system. So you've got built-in protection within the system.
I'm sorry, you've been very kind.
No. All right.
So far, you're doing fairly well.
Thank you, sir.
Bob Bennett was also the chair of the Republican Party in Ohio, the party that Diebold had raised money for. Citizens were there to record, observe, and hopefully make a difference. Among them, Kathleen and her college buddy, Victoria Lovegren.
Basically, I would like to know why. What were your decision rationale? For even your own criterion, Diebold does not win.
Well,
it's a bad decision, and it's gonna, it's gonna come back to bite you because you're already in trouble. People do not trust Cuyahoga County. They do not trust the recount here. You're in trouble.
right now, we are still in the process of completing the negotiations on the Diebold contract. We have made that selection. It's not likely that we're going to go back unless there's something drastic that happens in that and change our decision on that.
So Bev decided it was time to make something drastic happen. 3 months later, Diebold was back in town to complete the sale.
Knowing that Diebold was going to be showing up at a public meeting, the next strategy was to go there and get their head engineer on videotape saying you can't change the votes on the memory card.
So my question for Diebold would be, again, either do you not know what was done in these security tests, or did you just tell something that's not true?
I think that deserves a response from Diebold and Ms. Harris's question.
The question was changing votes, and did they know or not?
It is my understanding that because there is no executable program on the memory card, that the actual votes on the memory card cannot be altered.
Could you remind us, are you an engineer yourself?
No, I am not an engineer, but I can work with our engineering crew. In fact, Pat, I'll step up here for 1 second.
Hi, I'm Pat Green. I'm Director of Research and Development for Diebold.
Okay.
Ms. Harris, could you phrase your question again?
Can votes be changed using only a memory card?
No, I do not believe votes can be changed using only a memory card. That particular situation is detected by the software. The report that was written, that I have read, guesses that something like that might be possible, but says that they did not actually accomplish that or even test that.
These are very strong statements. These are statements that we took to be a challenge. These are statements that we wanted to find out if they were true or not.
And so Bev went back to Tallahassee to see if votes could be changed. For Ian, there was another reason to test the memory cards. As one of the most trusted Florida election officials, he had been appointed to oversee the 2000 presidential recount. The recount might have discovered why Volusia County's computers counted backwards to minus 16,022 votes. But when the Supreme Court stopped that recount, Ian was left with unanswered questions.
One of the reasons that interests me about the Volusia County situation and what happened there is that we in Leon County used the identical voting system, the Diebold AccuVote 2000. And in the 17 years that I've been an election administrator, my experience is that that kind of subtraction cannot occur accidentally. Someone consciously tried to affect that computer system and consciously tried to perpetuate a fraud, to steal votes.
During his research, Hari had discovered that Diebold's memory cards effectively allowed negative votes.
Well, then, go dead. What we're going to do here is modify one card and then bring it to the election supervisor Iyer Sanchez's office. Plug it as the real card in any election to the real election system and run ballots through. And that's the same system which have been used in a number of previous elections. And we'll see that what is the power in the ballot box. This should be just an empty box containing the votes, but it has more capabilities than that. So it's a very simple process. You just add the card in, you run the rewrite program, tell where to find the scanner, and tell exactly what file you want to be put in, and off it goes.
Hari's hack is a variation on stuffing the ballot box before anyone has voted. But this is always suspicious because you end up with more votes than voters. So Hari used 5 negative votes for one candidate and then gave the other one 5 positive votes. So as people cast their ballots, the total number of votes always equals the total number of voters. But was Hari right? Black box voting went back to Tallahassee for the ultimate test. Bev asked Susan Pynchon from Volusia County to observe. She too had found evidence of problems with the memory cards while sifting the trash from the Volusia County Board of Elections.
This is from Mark Early of Diebold, and it says, how did the number of memory card failures on election day increase from the 17 reported on November 3rd to 25? I don't know if we'll ever know why these memory cards failed, or if, see, one of the big questions in my mind is, did they actually fail? Or could they have been used for other purposes?
Hi, how are you doing,
Hi, nice
Susan?
to see
Good
you.
to
Hi,
see you.
good to see you.
Susan Berniker from Louisiana and Dr. Hugh Thompson also came to watch Hari's hack.
Always good to see you.
Always good to see you, Kathleen. Come on in. Well, let me tell you what we're going to do today. We have constructed a mini election, but Harry Hersey, as you have served as a technical advisor of how to do this, we're going to ask you to remain outside. After you, let me introduce you to my election staff. To ensure that we've not prepared some sort of a device that has been pre-rigged, pick the number, and then we'll grab that unit, and that will be the device that we will count the ballots on.
I just feel like this is the one.
Okay, and the winner is unit 15191.
5191.
What we have here is a programmed optical scan ballot. There is only one question on this ballot.
Can the votes on the Diebold system be hacked using the memory card?
I have only touched the memory card, not the other parts of the Diebold election system, which is going to be used today. Only the memory card.
I can certainly speak for myself and Harry, and that we're going to vote yes.
All right, then let's have the rest of us vote no. Two individuals, Hugh and Harry, will be voting yes. The rest of us will be voting no. And then we'll scrutinize the ballots afterwards to ensure that that is indeed the mark.
I will say that I'm wrong and Diebold is right, and I'm going to say no, they cannot be hacked.
It's impossible. So I vote no.
I'm going to film myself voting.
Excuse me.
I'm going to mark this ballot no. Dr. Thompson?
I am going to mark this ballot yes. I've seen some pretty concerning things.
Well, it's down to you. You're the last voter, Harry.
All right. I think it could be. So I vote for yes.
You will be the second yes.
All right. Here is the memory card I have touched.
Okay. Now, this is the only piece of Diebold equipment that you've used.
That's correct.
Well, thank you. Let me take your ballot in. This card will go into this slot. The next activity that the election worker does on the morning of the election is turn the machine on, making it live to receive votes. When you do that, this machine will produce what is called a zero total tape. The machine is going through a self-test analysis, and then it will spontaneously turn on. This is Harry's card that is telling us that there are 0 votes stored in the memory. Okay, let me get the ballots. Let's insert a yes ballot. We're going to put in another no. 7. And the last no ballot, 8. Placing the ender card in this device and telling it to turn off its counting function and do its reporting function will now cause the voting machine to print out a tape reading the number of votes that it had just read. Oh my.
What is it? Oh no!
What is it? What is it?
7 yes, 1 no.
Oh my God! Oh my gosh! Let me see.
Here's the tape.
7 people said it could be hacked.
And we put through 6 and 2.
6
no's
no's
and
2
2
yeses.
Oh my gosh! Do you know what this means?
How do we know that Harry didn't just change the report and the votes themselves on the memory card are still correct? If that was the case, when they go into GEMS, the results would be different, isn't that right?
I mean, the only way to know that is to read them into GEMS and to check the vote totals.
See what GEMS says. So should we do that?
I think we should, because I want to confirm for my own analysis, is this just a superficial?
Correct.
Right, that's a good question.
Did we just change the words on this paper? And we will upload this memory card if I had not seen what was behind this, I'd have no reason not to. I would have certified this election as a true and accurate result of a vote.
So
makes me cry. I'm sorry, but it does.
Why? Why?
There's so many reasons. The reason's because there are people out there who are giving their lives to try to make our elections secure, and they're being called conspiracy theorists and technophobes, and these vendors are lying and saying that everything's all right, and it's not all right. And I'm crying because I'll quote somebody that I know who said that it's as though our country's one country pretending to be another country. How can this be happening to our elections? This really does affect me.
I don't know exactly how to describe what I saw here. I think we, as election officials, need to be a little bit more demanding from the vendors as to the technical specifications of this equipment. The vendors are driving the process of voting technology in the United States. I would much rather, at this point, I think, focus on allowing citizens to select technology that satisfies their needs.
Diebold accused Ian of foolishness and apparent negligence, insisting that only authorized people should test their systems for security. They said that the hack was equivalent to leaving your car unlocked, with the windows down and keys left in the ignition. But scientists at Berkeley University later confirmed Hari's findings. They discovered a further 16 security flaws in Diebold's touchscreen machines. ES&S and Sequoia claimed their systems were safe, and Diebold maintains that they have upgraded their software to make it even more secure. They also insist that their electronic voting systems are still more accurate than their predecessors. But now, everyone is asking, why can votes be altered without leaving a trace? Cuyahoga, however, did not change their minds after the hearings and spent $22 million on touchscreen and optical scan machines from Diebold.